Hello and welcome back to the Q&A. So first of all, today is going to be, at least until we get more questions in the last Q&A, because I've done gone ran out of them. There are none left. So if you want to leave a question, please do so. It means that this can keep on going on a more regular basis. Now, let's go on to the question. So the first one is, I have a question regarding the black market auction house. There are a number of things that could be made bind on account. So let's say you win a bid on an unclaimed auction. Any thoughts on making some of the items bind on accounts that are bind on pickup? I think that's fair enough, actually, because if you're buying something in the black market auction house, it shouldn't really matter what character it's on, since you can buy stuff on the auction house with whatever character you want. You just need to send the money around. And the only thing is that from a tech reason, if you're getting the same item, if you're getting a sword that's also just regularly in the game BOP, that would mean Blizzard have to put in two different versions of that sword. So perhaps if you had the option to mail it to a character off the bat or something like that, but I don't really know if kind of them having to duplicate items in a database or whatever is really worth the convenience. I think it's probably just enough that you can mail over your gold to buy it with. Of course, pets and mounts both will bind to your account anyway, and weapons and armor you can buy on whatever character you want, so it doesn't really matter, I suppose. Now the next question is, what do you think the next level cap will be? Will it be 100? The Garrosh heirloom items are from 90 to 100, alluding to the fact it might be. What are your thoughts? I think it's pretty much all but confirmed that it's 100. It nearly definitely is. First of all, these heirlooms are very telling. They say 90 to 100, which definitely makes sense that it would be for the next expansion. Having an heirloom weapon lasting 2 expansions would be beyond stupid, I think. It will also completely unbalance the PvE for one expansion, so that's definitely not happening. So yeah, it will be 100, and I think the reason for that is because they want to fit in more zones. The problem with having so few zones in Pandaria is people felt stuck in the same place for a long time, and having 5 really massive levels, I guess it just made it feel like you weren't really getting anywhere, and that was pretty shit. So yeah, I think there'll be a lot more leveling zones, and it'll be 90 to 100, and I'm really excited to see how that'll impact the questing flow. I mean, from... My favorite questing experience was from 70 to 80, and we haven't had a 10 level one since, so perhaps things can go back that way. The next question is, what is your biggest change that needs incorporating into the game? Well, biggest change... World of Warcraft has really got multiple aspects to it, and if I said one biggest change, it probably wouldn't affect a lot of people, so well, go through PvE, PvP, and then just leveling and general stuff. So for PvE, I think Flex was kind of the big thing. But other than that, I think my idea for 5-mans, where there would be an equivalent to heroic scenarios, harder with better gear than heroic scenarios, but pre-made group requires a lot of strategy, probably as hard as the Cataclysm heroics, kind of like a hard mode 5-man that gives loot that's actually pretty competitive and hard. I think that would be great. For PvP, I think it's a Wintergrasp style thing. This is just a feature, not balance. I think for PvP, obviously, better balance is the first biggest issue, but if you're adding another feature, I would say bring in Wintergrasp, make it a siege thing, not a stupid capture the flag like Tol Barad. I think sieges are a little bit different in people's head. They're more exciting, they're more interesting, and there's a lot more camaraderie when everyone's either attacking the same place or defending the same place. Also, there's a lot of Zerg combat that goes on in World PvP, that's the way of it. So by making a siege, it's 2 Zergs against each other, which is actually a little bit more feasible, sort of to fun gameplay than the ridiculousness of Tol Barad, where it was just Zergs running around in circles for 20 minutes, which was dumb as hell. Next, for leveling, I think pretty much less linear questing and having more zones per kind of extra level cap. So we're getting another 10 levels next expansion. Hopefully we'll get a lot more zones than we did in Pandaria. That would be great. And hopefully the questing is a little bit less linear, perhaps leaning more to the Wrath of the Lich King style than the Cataclysm style, because the Cataclysm style had too many cutscenes, too many things to break the fun, and it just felt overall way too silly. There was too many gimmick humor quests, and I like the odd bit of humor, but it was just so much that it made the zones feel like a joke. And finally, for the last question, when mounted and passing by someone on the same faction as you, do you A, pass on the right, because that's how the rest of the world fucking does it, B, pass on the left, because you're a limey bastard, or C, do as I do, run through them and jump over them exclaiming America? Well, A, passing by politely is not my way of doing things. B is impossible because limey refers to English people, and I would call being called English an offence. The only people who like the English are the English. Everyone else hates them. Most of us in Northern Ireland, most of us hate them. In the South, everyone kind of doesn't like the English. In Wales, I think the Wales are probably okay with the English, but the Scottish hate the English. Even the English admit that they're the only people that think they're great, and they're actually pretty shit. And for C, do I run through them jumping and exclaiming America? No, because that's just being a pussy. And I actually just stop. I get my gun out and I shoot them in the face. And then I walk over their corpse, loot it, and continue on my merry way. Which is much better. Come on. You don't jump over them exclaiming America. You put on your 10-gallon hat, take out your 6-shooters, and kill them exclaiming America. Second Amendments, bitch. Well, that got a little bit political, but oh well. That's really all we can do with the Q&A. Just, again, if you have a question, leave it in the comments. If it's anything that's interesting or whatever, I'll get to it. Lore, actually. We haven't really explored lore a lot in this series, and I do know quite a bit about the lore, actually. I've played all the all the RTSs and read a few of the books, so yeah, lore actually really works well for these questions. Anyway, that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.